Yes, people, welcome back to GNA TV and Chelsea Fan TV. Been a while, obviously, I've been away. It's good to be back. Good to see you guys. Hope you're all well. Today, we're going to play a bit of a catch-up game, guys. We'll talk a little bit about the game over the weekend, and we're also going to talk about Madueke. We're going to talk about Sancho. We're going to talk about Neto. We're going to talk about Nkunku. We're going to talk about Maresca. We've got lots and lots and lots and lots to get into, guys. But from now all the way to the next hour and a half, what I need you guys to do is to smash the like buttons, guys. Smash the likes and share it out for me right now. Good to see every single one of you in here as always. Lots to talk in regards to Chelsea Football Club. I want to talk about Maresca. I want to talk about the winger options. I want to talk about where we are currently at the moment. We've got the Premier League fixtures to go through as well. Lots and lots to delve in and talk about in regards to Chelsea. So smash the likes, guys, if you can for me. And let's cue that intro. People, welcome back to GNA TV and Chelsea Fan TV for another Chelsea show for you guys. We will be bringing you a match preview to the West Ham game on Friday, guys. We'll be having the West Ham preview for the big game on Saturday. So, yeah, make sure you tune in for that one. Over 50 people in the building right now. Good to see you guys. I hope you're all well. Welcome in. Let's quickly say hello to the chat. Pulisic better than Mudryk. Said it since day one. Okay. RD, good to see you. Nkunku should be starting every game. He's played into form. I like Jackson, but we know what Nkunku can do. That's true. We're going to talk about Nkunku today as well. Yes, Emro, good to see you. Jamie as well. Chelsea fans, how are we doing? Good to see you. Daniel says, is Gusto and Lavia are back in training. How do you think they will be available? Do you think they'll be available for West Ham on Saturday because we need a right back? I don't know. I'm not there, but evidently I think we do need to get Malo Gusto back in. At the same time, we don't want to rush him in. And this all just falls down to the real problems that we're having with Reece James right now. Reece James is just becoming a problem for me. You know, we've got another message on Twitter about Reece James's recovery, and they're basically saying that he's not there. He's still suffering a bit. He's got a bit of an issue in his leg still, and that he's not in a position to actually return back to Chelsea at the moment, which evidently means that we've only got Malo Gusto as a right back and puts a lot of pressure on him. Now, you do have Akapom, who, let's be serious, Maresca could use, but what I don't want to see, and obviously we saw it against the Bournemouth game away, is Disasi playing as a right back. Now, let's be serious. If we would have just kept Trevor Chalobah, he probably could have maybe done a job out there. A better job, in my opinion, a better job in what Disasi can do and what we'd seen. But this Disasi playing right back thing is not the way forward for this football club. We need to make sure that if Malo Gusto ain't fit, then maybe we have to alternate how we play. And we saw in the second half when Wesley Fofana pushed out further right and we brought Tost in as the middleman. Maybe we're going to have to do that in games, which means we will look like we're going into a back three, maybe with an inverted fullback in Cucurella. Or, you know, in the likes of what we had in Vega playing in that role as a cover, in my opinion, because even him as well, along with Caicedo, I don't think had the two best games in the first half. I thought we were getting run ragged, but the second half, you know, they improved. But yeah, listen, Reece James, we need to start having conversations with him. If he doesn't, and I'll say this now on here, if he doesn't play at least, or he's not available, shall I say, for at least half of our games this season, we need to sell him. The problem we have is he's the captain. He's on $250,000 a week. He's not really playing and he's still getting $250,000 a week. It's a problem for me. So I ain't going to say much now, but what I'm going to say to you guys with Reece James is if I don't see him playing at least half of the games this season or being available, then we've got to think about other things for me, because it doesn't matter about how much talent he has or how good he is or, you know, or what he can do. But if he's not available, for us to utilize his benefit from him, what's the point? Like, what is the point, guys? It's becoming a bit of a pain. Alex, how are you? Big up to you. Hope you're well. Daniel says Sancho and Nkunku must start next game. We're going to talk about them two very soon. AKA, big up to you as well. Lavio obviously looking like he's going to return as well. James is still injured. He is still injured, and that for me is a problem still. Baddy took in January. What do you mean? I see Reece James on grass yesterday. Lavia posted on his Instagram page. Okay, interesting. Well, apparently he's still not there yet. Then maybe look, don't rush him because he's just injury prone anyway. But to have the availability of having Gusto and James both fit, what I think Maresca will need to do is just rotate them both when you've got them fit. And it's a bit like the wingers we have at the moment as well. You have to rotate these wingers. You can't just, you know, you've got to kind of look after specific players in the team that do suffer. And people like Reece James and Gusto now is picking up injuries quite often as well. You know, we need to be careful. Josh, how are you, bro? Good to see you guys. Over 100 people in the building. Good to see you all. Come and say hello. If you can, smash the likes as well, guys. If you're not smashing the likes, please get the likes up. I'll be sending the link out to the panel soon. This is an open discussion today, but I'm obviously going to spend the first half an hour just going through some of the topics that I've got at the moment. And the one that we're going to start with today is Noni Madueke, because there's been some comments in and around him and his performances. I know it's early doors as well. But Fabrizio Romano's come out and said that Noni Madueke is now considered a very important player for not only the season, but for future seasons. The feeling between Madueke and Maresca is very good. And you can see that because he's playing a lot. He's starting games. He's, benching specific players. Now, I don't think he had the greatest game against Bournemouth. Listen, he's still very young. He isn't consistent. Let's be serious. And that's something he needs to work on. But at the same time, the one thing that we have specifically this season, we've not had seasons before, is the quality. And the quality is what changed the game over the weekend against Bournemouth. Because to be quite honest with you, that first half was one of the worst first halves I've ever seen us play. We were awful. Even though we created chances and maybe should have scored, off the ball, we were a shambles, an absolute shambles. The second half picked up. And the one thing I would, and we're going to talk about more about Maresca a little later in the show. The one thing I would say Maresca seems to be doing very well is getting them to come out and fix up. They seem to fix up once they come out, but they need to get into that rhythm of not just waiting for 45 minutes to wake up. I need to see more consistent 90-minute performances. Now, listen, still early doors. They're still implementing the system, still probably trying to understand the system. We have a lot of players that have not had pre-seasons, a lot of players that have been signed very later on as well. So I get there's a lot of things that we need to understand and that needs time, and it's very hard for us to judge now. I think we have to wait. But there are specific things that I look at in, again, Maresca that I want to see him do better in. I'm going to talk about it a bit later. But in terms of Noni Madueke, great. Don't get me wrong, started very well. Don't think he had the greatest game against Bournemouth. However, I do think we should look at utilising some of the, now we've got enough wingers and 10s and lefts or whatever, we should utilise maybe rotating these wingers. And this is what we're going to get into a bit later on. He's still in the same group as the other wingers. He's been good, but he has locked down. This is what I'm saying, Josh. You know what I mean? Noni needs to pass more. He's over-carrying, passing late and shooting where it's unnecessary. But that's just the part of his game, right? Jackson, I thought was very poor against Bournemouth, by the way. Very, very poor. And that was part of my annoyance, really, which we're going to get to a bit later on with Maresca. But guys, 105 people in the building. Big up to every single one of you. Just keep going. We're going to put the link in the chat soon. Get the panel in as well. We are going to stay on Noni as well. What have I done here? Oh, no. What have I done here? Sorry, guys. 1 second. What's going on here? What have I done here? Oh, my God. I've opened one window away from another window, which is not what I wanted to do right now. I want to put this here. I don't know how to do this as well. This is the problem. Right, guys, stay there 2 seconds, all right? Give me 2 seconds. I'm going to disappear, all right? 2 seconds. Right, I'm back. I'm here. I'm back, guys. I'm back. Tosin needs to start ahead of Fofana. Interesting. We're going to talk more about that in a bit. Maybe we should try Sancho on the left and Neto on the right. Interesting. Probably Daniel. Do you think we still get a striker in January? And do you see us going back in for Osimhen? Now, everyone knows who my my guy is when it comes to striker. My guy when it comes to striker. It's the guy that played yesterday and scored a very good goal in not Victor, sorry, in Gokores, Victor Gokores. He's been my number one all the time. He's the guy that I feel fits the style of what we're trying to do. He's the guy that effectively I want to see at my club. I think he's profile. I think the way he plays the game. I think the way that he holds off the defenders. I think the way that he's unpredictable with being able to shoot with both feet. He's strong on both sides. He can shoot with his right. He can shoot with his left. I think that's a very good trait to have as a striker. The fact that he scores goals and people go, "Oh, he's just a goal scorer." He's not just a goal scorer. He links the play. He links the play very well. He can occupy defenders on his own. He's a handful in the air. He's very strong in the air. And on top of that, he's just very good. He's very good at his decision making. And there was when you watch him yesterday in the clips, there's so many moments where he receives the ball and he knows when to make the right pass. I think that's very key. But I don't think we're going to get him. Don't get me wrong. But that's my guy. That is my guy. Don't get me wrong. That's the guy I would like to go for. But I do think we'll probably go back into for Victor Osimhen, as what John Obi Mikel's saying. We should be getting him maybe summer or January because there was some minor tweaks in the contract and we'd run out of time as to why we didn't actually get him. It wasn't anything else other than that. Effectively, he seems to think that it would have been done and that he was involved in it. So go back to Noni Madueke. He says there was a moment in the summer when Chelsea were considering the possibility of selling Noni Madueke at the end of June. He was on the list of two clubs, Newcastle and Leipzig. At some point in August, he was considered untouchable. He's a very important player to Enzo Maresca's project. And I agree. And the reason I think that's true is because Enzo Maresca, in this system that he plays, likes direct wingers. Direct wingers with end product. Now, he has the first part, and obviously he scored with both his left and right foot the other day. So he shows that he has the ability to score goals, contribute. His only issue is just his consistency in creating and when to release the ball in the final third. If he can find that consistency in his game, in the final parts, then you've got yourself a very good player there. A very, very good player. Gokores, he's super expensive now. I know, it sucks. It sucks. We could have just not wasted our time and gone for him last season. But, we wanted Victor Osimhen. Fair enough. I ain't going to argue about it. Are we going to throw 100 million now? Doesn't feel like it, does it? If it is 100 million anyway. But Noni doesn't do anything against Palace and Bournemouth. Yeah, because he's inconsistent. That's my point. So it's about having consistent players. But the one thing that we do have a lot, and we're going to move on to next, is someone that has performed very well on his debut, and that's Jadon Sancho. Now, this guy took a pay cut. Some people saying it's 100K. Some people saying it's 150K. We've not actually had confirmation on his wages yet. However, forget his wages right now. I want to talk about his performance against Bournemouth because I was very upbeat about this signing. There was a lot of Chelsea fans that thought it was a waste. We don't need him, this, that, and the other. But there was a part of me that felt we needed him slightly. And if we got the right version of him, that he would just fit the system. And when I say fit the system, how we play, young group of players, he's 24 or 25 years old. He would fit that mold. Bringing the best out of him, 1-2 football, carrying the ball, releasing. Man United don't play like this. Let's be serious. Man United, I don't even know how Man United play. I know they won yesterday. A lot of their football is counter football. Just receive the ball and break. They take a lot and then they move forward. With us, we're more possession based. We carry the ball, we link play, we want patterns of play, we want 1-2s running behind, all this stuff. And it suits him because that's his type of profile. So taking the opportunity of bringing a player like Jadon Sancho to Chelsea for 20 odd million is a no-brainer for me even more. Even there's no risk, there's no high risk factor in this because even if he's not that good, we'd probably sell him for more anyway. Not my honest opinion. We might buy him for 20, but I guarantee we'll probably sell him for 30 if he's playing well, probably 40. So I hope we get the right version of Sancho because we saw it against Bournemouth and it's a different level. It's a player that knows when to release the ball. It's the player that has the ability to beat his man. And I liked him off the left, by the way. A lot of people were saying, I want him on the right. He has to play on the right. Big up, Matt. How are you, bro? He has to play on the right. We need to see him on the right. No. Off the left, he was very, very good. And it gives us versatility. Yes, he can play off the right. Yes, he can play off the left. But he was very, very good. Very, very, very good. And the only thing he needs to do now moving forward is just be consistent. Right, correct. I agree. with the comment here. Just be consistent. Keep putting in the performances. Turn up. Find chemistry with Palmer, Nkunku, Jackson, whoever you're playing with, and keep just making. If he's making a difference and assisting and bringing assists to this team, creativity, he's already adding to the team for me. He's already worth the 20 million for me a mile away, because yes, we have Cole Palmer and some other individuals that can create in the team. Let's be serious. We're a very creative team when it comes to individuals. But having someone like Jadon Sancho is a complete different type of winger. He's different to a Madueke. He's different to a Noni Madueke. He's different to a Neto. These, for me, are more direct dribblers that want to beat their man and use their speed to get around them and find the ball. This guy's just technical, balance. He's the way he moves his body. Like he's dribbling ability. He's better than all of them. His dribbling ability is better than all of them. I rate him higher than João Felix. Like that's true. But again, this is not to go. It's not here to say that João Felix is a bad player. I just rate him better. I just rate him better than dribbling wise. I'm talking about. I just rate him better dribbling ability and what I know what he can be. I rate him as a better player once he finds it. But he saw him with Sancho. He saw up here. It's getting the best out of him. It's keeping him focused. It's keeping him on that line, because when he was at Dortmund last season, the Champions League, he was fine. He's always important to them over there. He's just never played well at Man United. Like, it's just one of them. Like, he just didn't work there. The profile player just didn't work on what they were doing. But he's came to Chelsea, and this is a big opportunity for him to really just show, And I thought he was great. I thought he was very good. And Sancho's has then product than Felix. I don't know. I need to look at the stats to really say, does he have better end product than João Felix? I think what he does do is assist, and I think he has a better final third decision-making pass, And yeah, Josh is right. It's a steal. 20 million is an absolute steal for Jadon Sancho. So yeah, it's good to see right now. Long may it continue. He brought the version of himself that I wanted to see. That was the Jadon Sancho that I wanted. That's the one that I know can be effective. That's the one that I know can really help this team move forward. And the big thing we have now, like I keep saying, more than any other season, from an attacking point of view, it's quality on the bench. As long as they're fit and they're available, and it ain't working with the people who got up front, whether it's Mudryk, Neto, Madueke, Palmer, whoever it is, it doesn't matter. Because if you've got a bench of Sancho, Felix, whoever, Nkunku coming off, like, do you know what I mean? And it's key. And Maresca made a very good comment. And when they get to Maresca very soon, we've got Enzo Maresca comments to talk about as well. But Maresca made a very good comment about having all these wingers as well, which is very important. But park a bus, we bring Sancho. True. He brings a problem solve. For me, the big thing, and that was a good comment there from Ryder here. Park the bus and we bring on Sancho. We struggle at home to break teams down. But Jadon Sancho is the type of player that likes to, wiggle and find holes and dribble in and drag players out of position. He's that type of player we need off the wing when we're playing at home, and we need to create, basically. We need someone to make something happen. He gives me that vibe. I just hope that he can be consistent, and we'll see moving forward with Jadon Sancho if that consistency pays off. Now, the next one I want to talk about is Pedro Neto. Pedro Neto's one. Big up Couch, man. Last chance for him to play for a big club. Serious motivation. 100%. Listen, Couch, if we get that version of Sancho that we saw against Bournemouth more consistently, and we're winning games that maybe we're not winning, and he's being the difference, whether it's, and again, I say from an assisting point of view, then that's great. That's great. That's the Sancho we want, because this be serious. Quality level, to the level that he can play, the standard, and this is why I wanted him, and I thought the 20 mil was a steal, to the level that he can play, with the motivation, with the people behind him, with the right team, with the right profiles. He could be a really, really important player for Chelsea. For 20 million, we'll be sitting here laughing at the end of the season if it pays off. And I pray to the Lord that he just keeps motivated up here. Because for me, with Jadon Sancho, it's all here. It's all about him here. It's not about his ability. This boy has ability. It's here. Can he consistently be play the way that we need him to play to be effective. Because if he does, every team we come up against is going to have a problem against him because he's a problem. So true, Jem. What a bench! It's just a great bench. It's just packed with quality, absolutely packed with quality. And we go on to the next person, which is Pedro Neto. Now, I've seen a lot of people on Twitter digging at him a little bit. Maybe, oh, he's not doing enough. Oh, he's this, he's that. I like Pedro Neto, guys. I'll be quite honest with you. I think he's direct. He's quick. I like the way that he can cross a ball quite nicely into the box. My biggest question mark with him is where he's currently playing at the moment. Are we utilising him in the best position? Because now we see Sancho playing off the left and we have Mudryk out there as an option as well. Does Neto really have to be playing off the left? I don't think Noni Madueke should be playing every game. I've said this. I don't think he's consistent enough. And I think the rotation will keep the levels, the competition going. And you want the rotation because it keeps them going. Oh, I've got a chance to get in. It's not just him holding the position. I've got no chance. They're fighting for their positions. And it's pushing each other, pushing. You don't perform in 45, 50, 60 minutes. You're off and I'm coming on and I'm going to turn up. And we saw it against Bournemouth. Sancho came on in the second half for his debut. Unbelievable. Neto was taken off. And Nkunku came on well too late in the game. We're going to talk about him. Made a difference. Do you see what I mean? Them moments, it gets you across the line. We've not really had this availability before. As long as we can keep this attack fit and we have this competition, we will benefit from it because the people that come off the bench will want to make a difference. And this is the difference for me now. It's the quality that we're able to bring off the bench from an attacking point of view that could make the difference in games for us throughout the season. It just will. It just will for me. Pedro Neto, yeah, he did have a great game against Bournemouth, but I don't think he was terribly bad. He had some good moments cutting around, crossing balls in and whatever, but, maybe not as effective as we want him to be. Now, I want to see him off the right. I want him to go back to the right-hand side. I want Madueke to play rotation with him, and I want Sancho and Mudryk off the left. That's what I want. I've seen Sancho on the left, and he's already confirmed to me that that guy can play off the left. People saying he's better off the right, fine, versatility. But at this moment in time, to move Neto from having to force Neto to play off the left, put Sancho in there because he seems more comfortable in there anyway. And he can. The good thing about Sancho is he can go left and right. Do you know what I mean? He can either go in right or he can dribble and go left. And you saw it so many times. He's very hard to mark, With Neto, I think Neto likes to be able to run in behind from the right and cut inside on his foot and maybe whip one in or, arrive at the back post or, bend one in with his left foot. I think he's just more comfortable, more effective. As if when he's on the left, he gets the ball, he runs at his player. Listen, he beats his player with his speed and his ability to cross, but he doesn't get involved enough in the game for me. Like we're not utilizing that left enough. As with Sancho, I feel like we just utilized it more when he came on the pitch, So I think we have to look at maybe looking at Neto Madueke on the right, Sancho Mudryk on the left, Palmer and Nkunku, Felix, false 9, 10, and Jackson. That's it. That's the way I think we should be looking at it, Sancho, Palmer, and Nkunku Neto would be from the next game. I want to see that, Josh. I really want to see that. Sancho off the left, Palmer in the middle, and Nkunku in the false 9, Neto on the left. That would be interesting. I would also listen, even if Neto came on the second half into this and you had Madueke in that and you throw Madueke in there, that would even be interesting to see, That would be interesting to see. Guys, over 150 people in the building, man. Good to see every single one of you here. I hope you're well. Please smash the like buttons, guys. I need to hit these likes. We need to try and get to 100 likes on every live that we're doing right now. 25 minutes in. And yeah, so very early doors for Neto. How Maresca will utilize him will be key, but he has the options. He has the variation and he has the ability to be able to, switch players as of when he wants to switch these players. And that goes on quickly to a quick Maresca comment, which is where we're going to go next. Now, he came out after the game and he mentioned this, which was quite interesting. He said, after the end of the game, I just saw the player. At the end of the game, I just said to the players, Christo. So he said to Nkunku, Cole Palmer, Jadon Sancho, João Felix, Noni Madueke, Mikhailo Mudryk, Pedro Neto. They are all not going to play all the games. All they need to do is exactly what they did tonight. What he means by that is you ain't going to play full 90 minutes of games. It's just not going to happen. Yeah, with the quality that the availability he has, he's always going to rotate. But once he rotates, just be the difference. Play to that level that I know that you can play at. If you can do that as a team and bring your qualities to the team, and we end up becoming, we benefit from it, Champions League football, maybe win a trophy, out of example, then that's better. That's better as a team. Now, I know every player wants to play 90 minutes. It's a normal feeling. But not every player is going to play well in 90 minutes. Let's be serious. And that's where the competition allows Maresca to keep the standards high. You ain't having a good 50, 45 minutes. Neto, you're off. Sancho, it's your turn. Go. Comes on. Let me go. Do you see what I mean? So they're going to get their minutes. He's not going to give these guys their minutes, providing they're all fit. Unless we have a crap ton of injuries again and we're forced to play in specific wingers. If they all stay fit, they're all going to get an opportunity in and around it. My only issue with it slightly is that maybe one or two of them players for me should be starting games. They can come off later on, but I think at least one or two of these players should be starting games. Now, one of the players that I think, big up, Steve. Good to see you guys. Oh, big up, guys. Nearly 200 people in the building. Good to see you all. We have got a lot of games. We're playing over what, 70 odd games, is it, this season? It's a lot of football we've got coming up, you know. What I was going to say to you is the two players that I feel that should be starting games for me is Christopher Nkunku. I don't know if you guys agree with me. I think that guy has to start. Like, we shouldn't even be benching this guy. This guy needs to fit in. His quality is just, it's just another level. And when we talk about goals scored, he's the only killer really we have in our team that can take a chance when it's given to him. And you know what? You can ask Couch and others in the group chat when we was watching Bournemouth. Couch and me were moaning about how Maresca was taking too long to make substitutions and bringing in Nkunku specifically on. He'd done it in the 80th minute. It paid off, right? However, that ain't going to happen all the time. He has to utilise that a little bit earlier. And someone like Christopher Nkunku, he should be starting games. When you need goals and you need to be winning. If we go 2-0 up and Nkunku scores 2 and we're comfortable, take him off. Put João Felix on or Jackson, whoever it is, wherever he's playing. But in terms of the creative levels that we're going to see from this team, and we're going to see some creativity because we've got it across the pitch now, and it landing to the right person to put it in the back of the net. Unfortunately, we're not blessed with choices. I'm sorry. We're just not blessed with choices in front of goal. So the one that you want to be in front of goal, if you're going to create for him, is Christopher Nkunku, because he's a killer, and he is the only killer we have, proper killer in front of goal that we have in this team. And I'm sorry, it's true. He might disagree with me, but he's one of the only killers that we have in front of goal. Cole Palmer will contribute. They will score goals, the wingers around. They'll contribute. But effectively, when it lands to the man in the box, I can't rely on Nicholas Jackson. I just can't. I can't rely on this guy. And we saw it against Bournemouth. He was whack. He was whack for well too long. He should have came off. He should have came off. He should have came off at half time. He was whack. He was running with the ball on his own. He weren't linking play. Yeah, he wasn't running in behind. He was just losing the ball. You know, it wasn't really that. He had that one good chance when he ran in behind on his left foot, which I think Colwell played him in, and he took the shot. Yeah, okay, good chance. All right, good effort. I like Jackson. I've got no issues with him. I'm not saying he shouldn't be playing minutes. I want him to play. I just don't think he has to play every fucking game. You know, you got options. You want to play false nine and rotate with the quality you got around, do it. João Felix can play in a 10 role and alternate with Nkunku, so you've got like a 10-9 mix in between. Palmer can do the same. He can arrive in the box with Nkunku, whatever. You know, this gives us versatility. But for me, he has to start games. It's very important that this guy is in the team because he's fit, he's available. It's good for us. He has to play. Sources have revealed that Sancho and Nkunku had said to each other before they both came off the substitutes bench that they would make an impact in the game. Well, of course they would. They're both quality players. If they've both got the right mindsets to go in and do damage, they're going to do damage to these lesser teams quite comfortably. Comfortably. These two, in my opinion, could actually have a really good chemistry. And you already saw it with the goal. The fact that Sancho cut inside and Nkunku fell in between the defenders and he plays that direct pass. It was like a Cole Palmer pass. You know when Cole Palmer plays him direct passes into the penalty box? It's what he did. That direct pass into the penalty box off the left. And this is what I love about Christopher Nkunku. He controls the ball, but his movement in tight spaces is unbelievable. He done it against Liverpool away, if you remember, where he turned left, right, bang, hit with his left foot. Alisson was done. Couldn't even get nowhere near it. Goal. Like, he couldn't even get it. Like, this guy in tight spaces is very good. Very, very good. And you saw it. I don't think the goal gets enough credit for me from Nkunku, because when he receives the ball, he gets barged off the right of one defender. Then the other defender barges with left, and he holds both of them off, shrugs one to the floor. The other one's trying to tussle with him, and then another one comes across and tries to slide and stop him shooting. But then it's too late, and he's put it in the back of the net. And that was his first chance in front of goal, wasn't it? That was man's first shot in front of goal, and he made it happen. And listen, Sancho assisted, but Nkunku had tons to do still. He had to swivel his body, he had to shrug off one, do the other, and put it in the back of the net. And it was a quality finish, an absolute quality finish. And I've even said to Couch, and I think Couch is in it, I said, if Nkunku comes on and we create for him, he's going to score. And we did. We created for him, and he scored. And ultimately, he was a difference in the game for me. Him and Sancho were the big differences in the game against Bournemouth. But, he has to play. And Christopher Nkunku has the 5th highest non-penalty goals per 90 ratio in the Premier League history, guys. Premier League history. And this guy's hardly played yet. This guy's banging in goals without us even realising he's banging in goals when we're drawing and losing and stuff. Still banging in goals in the number of appearances that he's had compared to goals. He's just deadly. This guy is deadly. Like, end of. End of. End of for me. And Maresca, for me, needs to learn. We did, didn't we? We did. We said it in the chat. What Maresca needs to learn from this for me is, yes, they ain't all going to play and they're all going to have minutes on the bench and that. And I understand that. You're going to protect someone like Nkunku, who has suffered from injuries. But in games at home, you have to start this guy for me. He has to fit in what we're doing. And if that means Jackson can't play every game, which he shouldn't be, by the way, playing Nkunku. I don't like him in the 9 role. But I actually think in this Maresca system, it's a little bit different. Because, yes, he's the 9, but he's surrounded by all this quality of people being able to, other players being able to drag defenders out of position. Sancho, Neto, Madueke, Palmer. They all have this vision. And they have this creativity that kind of doesn't leave him on his own, because even though effectively he's up there on his own, once we're up at the other end of the pitch, it's all this link-up play, moving, switching, versatility, each switching around, it's hard to mark. It's a nightmare. It's a nightmare, So it's definitely one that I think he needs to learn from Maresca. And listen, I'm not talking too much about Maresca at the moment because we're about to talk about Maresca very shortly. But he did go on to say this about Christopher Nkunku after the game, which is quite interesting. He said, the reason I used Christo in the moment was I thought we were creating chances, but we lacked quality inside the box. So the idea to use him as a 9 was because any ball that falls inside the box, we know he's a quality player and could decide the game. Okay. So the good news is, guys, he knows, he sees it. He knows that he's quality. He also knows that we were creating chances and that we lack quality, and that the quality that we actually needed when we were creating the chances was on the bench. So he kind of shot himself in the foot, really. He kind of said, well, I brought him on late because we were creating chances, but we lack quality, but we know he's that quality player. Okay. Listen, I'm not going to jump on his back yet because it's still very early doors, but these are the moments where he needs to learn. You can't be bringing Christopher Nkunku on 80 minutes for me. No. That don't work for me, especially if we're playing like we did against Bournemouth and we're creating and just not able to to put away, or do you know what I mean? Because they're the finer margins. We're not always going to create 20 goals. or to have 20 shots on target. It might only be 5. Well, I think against Bournemouth we had 10, where I think 5 or 4 were on target. He's the difference in these games, man, and he was a difference in this game, and he will be a difference in many more games for Chelsea. I promise you, providing he stays fit up front or in the team somewhere. He needs to play. He needs to play. End of. You cannot drop Cole Palmer. No, I'm not saying drop Cole Palmer. Listen, Cole Palmer has to play and fit in with what we got, but there has to be a rotation, right? Enzo Maresca talk. Let's go on to Enzo Maresca, and then I'm going to drop the link in. Actually, I'm going to drop the link in for the panel now, if they're about. I don't know around today. I'm not going to lie. They did all say to me that they're doing things, which is a shame. But I'm going to just put the link in the chat. In the chat. I know Couch is not around. I know Forward is not around. I know Don said he might be around. Don't know where everyone else is, to be quite honest. But we'll move on anyway. He says it is important to remember Maresca is coaching his first season in the top flight, let alone a big level 6. That's true. I agree with that. This is a test for Maresca himself. He hasn't played or been managed a team at the level of Chelsea Football Club. This is all new to him. I get that. So I have to accept some rawness / naivety, which I feel like we've seen in some spots. 100% agree with him on that, my opinion. Some of the profiling in moments and our in-game approach has felt a bit quite off at times. Now, he's right, 100%, because part of that's down to the chemistry and the adaptation to the system, because it's still going to take a bit of time. All right, it's only 4 games in, guys. Like, we've got to give them time to adapt and work it out and problem solve, like we've seen with the midfield. Enzo Fernandez, for example, he's one of them players that I feel slightly misprofiled, plays well too high up the pitch, shouldn't be in that position, and needs to play more of a deeper role, like we saw with Vega and Caicedo, in my opinion. Maybe not as deep. I don't want him like that next to Caicedo all the way. I don't think it should be the case. But he can't have the gaps that we've seen when we transition moving forward. I don't want to see that. I want to see him a little bit deeper, like he's used in Argentina, where he receives the ball and he's able to dictate the play from deeper. And that's the Enzo Fernandez you want. Because in a game like Bournemouth, where they're pressing and trying to win balls and there's the spaces like that behind, he would have ate that up. He would have received balls and been pinging. Ting, ting, ting. He would have. They're the type of games he likes. So, for me, it's there is a small element of misprofiling, misunderstanding in the system for me as well. A slight misunderstanding in the system as well. It's the understanding of how he can get the best out of all the players in positions, because I still think he's learning about the wingers. Even though the wingers are doing okay, I still think he's looking at certain situations and going, he's playing okay, but we need to get more out of him. Maybe like, for an example, a Neto, who I feel could play off the right, And then you've got the issues with Nicholas Jackson. He's probably now seeing that you can't always play Jackson every game, because he's going to have good games and he's also going to have games like he did against Bournemouth. What options do we have? Okay, Nkunku can play him up there. João Felix, whatever. Gives you the options, right? Do you know what I mean? So it really gives you a it has. Listen, it has. I just think the problems that we're seeing, like, I didn't watch the Palace game because I was away, so I couldn't really criticize too much about it because I didn't really watch the whole game. But I was hearing a lot of the very good in the first half, but then just lost it in the second. And it was the midfield, defense. Like, there's just too many little things going wrong. Now, listen, that is down to the system, where to be in position in moments. They're still being drilled to understand where to be, what to do. But I also think he needs to look at certain areas of maybe tweak it. Not saying misprofile, but tweak it. You don't want, like we saw Cucurella against Bournemouth playing as like a 10 in the first half. My guy was so far up the pitch. And I was like, why is my man so far up the pitch? Like, don't get me wrong. I like the link up between him and Sancho, second half. Very good. One touch football. They seem to have some really good chemistry going on there. I like it. However, in the first half, my man's playing in the Enzo Fernandez role. I was playing in the Enzo Fernandez role. But that's the role I don't want to see anyway. So that's where I think he could edit the system and go, right, no, why are we doing that? That's not actually really benefiting us, really. Yeah, it gives us an extra player at the pitch, but maybe we need to drop them a little bit deeper so they can help Caicedo, Lavia, the defence, transition up the pitch a better. That's my example of what I think he could do. These are the little things where I think he needs to look at. And then you look at something like the Disassi decision. All right, he had no choice. Gusto's injured. Reece James is injured. I get all that. But then watching that game, he must look at that now and go, we can't play Disassi right back in the Premier League. If it's a cup game where we might be able to get away with it with a lesser team, potentially, if we've got injuries. If we've got injuries. But the way that he alternated it in the second half, where he moved Wesley Fofana wider, he brought Toss in and put him in the middle and played Levi Colwill far to the left, which is a better, more balanced way of us playing than it was the first half. And that was ultimately the difference by the two halves, because we were better. And not only was we better, our midfield was better, because Caicedo and Vega, they weren't good the first half. People were talking about, Caicedo, he got around, he done so many tackles. Yeah, he did. Because that's what he does. Off the ball, Caicedo, his best trait is getting around the pitch and winning the ball. What Caicedo's best trait, I wouldn't say bad trait, because he hasn't got really too many bad traits for me, but what Caicedo's not great trait is just good at, is transitioning, receiving the ball. He's got an eye to make a pass. He can do it, doesn't he? But he's not got it to the level of a Lavia. He hasn't got the level. He hasn't got that press-resistant way of Lavia, for example, in my opinion. As with Lavia receives the ball, he already knows people are going to come at him. He's just thinking about how he can pop it. He's already thinking about where to pass the ball, and he will look and try and find the guy before he plays the ball. Like the little things like that. But from what we saw against Caicedo and Vega in the first half, they were just too close to each other, and they were losing the ball. They weren't linking up well enough. That we were getting outrun in midfield. The defense was taking too much pressure in the first half, and it was a mess. Let's just say it as it was. It was a mess. But he problem solved. He realised we can't keep playing like this in the second half. I've got to change it. He took off one winger who came on and took his chances and added that quality moving forward. And he moved Fofana further right, which made us a bit more balanced as of when we lost the ball, off the ball, because the midfield was better. The midfield looked better. Vega and Caicedo maybe up their games a bit more. And, maybe there was some, discussions of what they should be doing in the second half, and they just performed better, and it looked better, and it was more balanced, and that's what he's got to work out. His best balanced options, the ones that ain't working and don't balance, see you later, throw it in the bin. What is my best balanced options is what I have, and how can I work it out? That takes time. That just takes time. He's going to need time to understand, this is my plan A, this is my plan B if we have to go like this, because it's not working. And this is a C. We can take this one off the bench and him. And when we put it in the team, we put 3 at the back and we do this. And you've got your 3 systems that all the players are well drilled in, that know how to play it and can affect the game. That's something he's got to show. But he also needs to make the right decisions with substitutions. Peter, we're talking about the West Ham game on Friday, mate. Friday. The West Ham game, we're doing a match preview on Friday, guys. If you're not around for that, please make sure that you come back to that. We're going to get talking about the fixtures in a minute, guys. We're going to talk about the fixtures list. We've got that to come up next as well. But yeah, and just to give you a little bit of like an insight in and around where we are first 3 games, I thought this was quite interesting, actually. Enzo Maresca's 3 games versus Pep Guardiola's 4 games, where Maresca is done cooking, you will enjoy. So this is the grid. 4 games, 3 games. And it gives you like an idea of like the overall abilities of the team and how we're playing in the first couple of games. In terms of performance levels, they're a little bit ahead of us, 85 to 70. I think we're like 83. That's not too bad. The attacking impotent side of it, they're a little bit ahead of us again, but 81, 88, we're on the trajectory. We're following it. Defensive element of it, they're at 74. We're a little bit lower. That's an area we know we need to work on. We're not very good at. Then it goes to duels. I think the duels are near enough the same. And then we go to pressing. And this is the area where we're much better than them. Look, 77. Our pressing throughout the pitch is much more aggressive than the Pep Guardiola in the first couple of games. The set pieces, they're stronger on. Effectively quite stronger on. Something we could look at improving. Box efficiency was very low from us, which is quite interesting because it goes to show that we're not actually flooding the box as much as we think in the first 3 games. As with these lot, they flood the pitch. They flood the box. They flood the box with attackers when they attack. It's a different style on how they play. But we don't really do that. And that's something maybe an area we can work on improving. Counter as well. Counter football. And this is the difference. Their box efficiency is better because they press higher up the pitch and they load their their 2-8s into the boxes, Man City, yeah, which makes them effective. As with Chelsea, we're playing more. It doesn't look like it, but we're playing more on the counter. As when we get the ball, even though it doesn't look like we're playing quick counter football, we're very direct. It's very play the ball forward, get it direct, and play a run off him. And you know what I mean? So goes to show how effective we are there. Possession wise, we're at 73%. They're at 94%. They're obviously very better drilled at keeping the ball from the back all the way forward than what we are. But it just goes to give you an idea of where we are currently as a club. And this is why I wanted to do this show today, because it was just more about having a full discussion about Maresca, what we've seen, a couple of the players that we've seen as well. Defensively, we haven't spoke about that yet. Obviously, we can highlight the defense, but you know, I still think there's not really one defender that's stepping up for me at the moment. I thought Colwill was better than Fofana in the game. He had good moments with the ball. Off the ball, I'm still a little bit skeptical of. I thought Fofana gave a penalty away, which was very poor, but was better in the second half. But still, I just expect so much more for Fofana, for how much we paid for him as well. I just expect him to really step up. And listen, he's had a serious injury. And again, he's someone that I'm giving more time because I want to see the chemistry between the two. But with 4 games in, and it's a bit still meh for me, looking at them both. And then you look at Cucurella, who's just come back. Listen, we have no options, barring that Chilwell's back in the team now, from what we've been told. So you might see a bit of Chilwell. And then obviously it's the right backs. And the right backs are an issue for me. I said this already. We can't be having just Malo Gusto because it's putting too much pressure on him. It's putting well too much pressure on him, you know. So effectively, it's one of them. It really is just one of them right now where it's just like, it's one of them where it's like we need to be a bit careful with the fullback areas because the Reece James thing's a bit of an issue for me. If he can't stay fit and play at least half our games, then I think we've got to get rid of him. I don't care if he's our captain, but then I don't think we can get rid of him because he's on $250,000. I don't think anyone's going to pay him $250,000. You know? Yeah, look, I'm more. He hasn't played a lot of football. Yeah, and this is what I'm saying. I'm not going to throw him under a bus because it's still very early doors. You know, I just want to see that chemistry improve, like you guys. At the moment, I'm not that impressed with the defense personally. However, you know, they seem to improve in game. They don't start that well and then they improve in game, or they start well and then they play bad at the second half. Like, I need that more consistency, you know. I need that consistency a bit more from them. Tossing in Fofana out, mate, is what Scott's saying. People want to see Tosin. I actually just want to see Tosin come in, personally. I want to see Tosin come in and have a couple of games as well. You know, what's wrong with that? I don't think there's nothing wrong with at least seeing it, you know. However, Colwill and Fofana are the two right now, and this is what he wants to stick with, right? He should use Achipong, to be quite honest, because he's natural there. You know, it gives us an option as well. Hassan, how you doing, mate? You all right? Good to see you.
Yeah, I'm doing all right. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, bro. We can hear you. What are you saying? How's everything? What do you think about the We're talking about briefly about the Bournemouth game, but also like Maresca more so about the tactics, how he handled the game, how we've handled the first 4 games. I mean, how do you feel with what you've seen
I
so far?
mean, like the first game was Man City, so like let's be honest, the first game was just about damage control and to try to see if we could at least do something against City on the very first sort of game. But like the loss was kind of expected, and I didn't expect anything out of the game. Uh, the second one was Wolves. First half we were absolutely shocking in that sort of game, and it's like what you're saying, like these sort of first couple of games, we have periods where we play teams off the park in the first half, and then we just either drop off or we turn up in the second half, and vice versa. And what I tend to notice is in these sort of games and our attack, if you include our main 4 attackers, Sancho, Palmer, and Nkunku, and whether you want to include Jackson or Felix, whoever, we transition the ball from midfield, from defense to attack quite well. But when you take off them sort of players, the quality drops and the link up and passage of play also drops with it. So that's a little bit concerning in a sense. But like we're still early doors with this system, right? And I've got mixed opinions about it because if you take away the 6-2 sort of win, and consider that like a placebo or like a false image, it's been very, very mixed in terms of performance from our players. Like, you can't really highlight one single good game out of that 6-2 Wolves, can you? Like,
No, but at the same time, I think that comes with just like the fact that we need more time in the system. They're probably still trying to drill themselves. You've got to bear in mind
We're
some of
still
these
probably
players.
figuring out Enzo's Maresca's best 11 as well. So
Yeah, but you got to bear in mind some of these players had no preseason, next to none, no preseason. Some of these players have been injured and just come back. Some of these players we bought very late as well. Like there's a lot I think we just need to still understand, and I'm willing to give time to. What I need Maresca to do is there's just certain individuals that I feel should just be starting, like Nkunku, for example. Like you can't be having Nkunku on the bench for 80 minutes against Bournemouth when we're playing that shit. Do you know what I mean? Like that's one player that can
mm,
change the game for you in front of goal, and he's the only one of the players that I know in front of goal that's got that killer instinct. You know,
yeah,
you
yeah,
need
and
that.
to
You know,
play sort of devil's advocate as well, he's also got like other players that he needs to get a feel of to see how good they are in his system as well. So it's
yeah,
like
of
I
course, yeah.
understand your point as well, but like he's got like, even though like I know that the Sky Sports and all these lot over exaggerate saying that Maresca's got 40-man squad, he's really got like what 25, 30 players. He's still trying to figure out like who his best 11 is, who's
And
his
he deserves
best
that
attack
time.
and stuff.
And he deserves that time to do that because it's still 4 games in and it's early door and it has been a bit rocky. Listen, we've won 2 games. We're going to get to that in a second, but 2 games, lost one, drawn one. It's not the worst start in the world. You know, I just need to see us kick on some consistency. But before we go to talking about the games and the fixtures, I didn't get to mention once yet is Robert Sanchez's performance against Bournemouth because he gets a lot of criticism. I do think he still has a bozo element in his game. However, Ben Foster says he has had a bit of a rocky start to the season. He physically looks like he's an absolute athlete, a specimen of a goalkeeper. It looks like he's got absolutely everything. Just sometimes some goals go in and you question his positioning, but in the game he was incredible. And I've got to say, he really stepped up for us in that Bournemouth game. He was, he made some really good saves in key moments that we needed him to, and a lot of games in the past you maybe wouldn't get that from him. And I hope it's a case that it's because he's improving, new goalkeeping coaches, new styles of trainings, whatever. I hope that's something that we can look at and say, yeah, he's now, finding that confidence and trying to show that he is, and not just that, show because Maresca's put a lot of confidence in him. We bought a goalie, we're not even playing him. Jorgensen, he's on the bench, like so. It goes to show, like, there's got to be some sort of element of like trust in this guy, the fact that he's playing him as much as we're playing him. But I still worry with Sanchez in the consistency element. At the same time, I'm not going to say anything until he shows that he isn't consistent, if that makes sense. But Hassan, what's your thought on Sanchez, man? Good performance, right? Against
Yeah,
Bournemouth.
yeah, yeah. He was definitely contender for the man of the match, and I'm gonna say how it is. The penalty wasn't his fault; it was purely on the defense, and he just stepped up, and he's literally the reason why we probably well, he's one of the 3 players and one of the biggest reasons why we won that sort of match. And yes, there is that consistency and sort of like bozo moment in him. But I think that a lot of keepers tend to have that bozo moment because nowadays, and especially in modern football over these last 5, 6 seasons, we're demanding a lot more from the keepers now and asking them to play from the back. And some keepers have it, some keepers don't. And Sanchez is one of them where I don't think he has it, or I don't think he's consistent enough to find the passage of plays, which is why he's had a lot of bozo moments last season. And yeah, the positioning is also a little bit inconsistent, but like the Bournemouth game is one of the games where Sanchez shows his quality and shows that he's got that. But like you said before, it's just a question mark on his consistency. But as long as his confidence is high, because a lot of these players seem to run on confidence,
Yeah,
I'm still giving him that little bit of trust. There's also that worry. I think every Chelsea fan has that worry about Sanchez and his bozo moment, but he's not doing too bad at the moment.
yeah. No, I hear you. I hear you. Let's go over and look at the table. This is where Chelsea are at the moment. We're currently sitting eighth. One win would put us second right now. Obviously, that's bearing in mind the teams in front of us as well. We've won 2 games, drawn one, and lost one. Our next game, which we're going to look at now, when we go back into the fixtures, is a game against West Ham. Now, we're going to be doing a match preview to this, so I don't want to talk too much about the game because that's something we're going to concentrate on Friday, guys, when we do the show. But not a game, not on not a ground that we do too well in, to be quite honest with you. But a game we need to win, and I think we need to keep building on this. And when you look at the fixtures that we have got coming up in, in the next. Let's just have a look at like the next. Oh, not Liverpool. If you go look at the next sort of, I don't know, handful. Where am I going? I'm going the wrong way. I feel like I'm going the wrong way. 5th round, quarterfinals. Where they go?
You gotta scroll down. You gotta scroll
Oh,
down.
I've got to scroll down, haven't I? What's going on there?
Yeah.
Oh, I've gone well down now.
There we go.
we
Just a little bit down. There you go.
I don't know why it took me to there. That was a bit random. When you look at the games that we've got coming up, guys, all the way to Liverpool, we have West Ham away, which is a big game for us. I still think we need to win that. Then we have the Barrow at home game, where I think you will see a lot of players rested. We should win that quite comfortably. So that hopefully we can get 2 W's there. But then when you look at the Premier League, we have Brighton, Nottingham Forest, and then Liverpool. Now, from these 3 games of the Premier League, that's 9 points. I think we should be winning them games. We've got Ghent in the Europa Conference League at home as well on the 3rd of October, day before my birthday. Interesting. Didn't know that. But I look at that, Hassan, and obviously the West Ham game's a tricky one because we haven't got the greatest record there at the moment currently, but I feel like we're due to own one soon anyway. But when you look at the Premier League side of things, them 3 games before the Liverpool games, are you expecting us to especially with 2 of them being at home, are you expecting us to win these games?
Well, I think that it should be expected, but then again, with the new system and the amount of players that we brought in and stuff, I think it's going to be very frustrating the way that the Bournemouth game was. I wouldn't be surprised, like I said, we'll score 2 goals, but the game would be incredibly frustrating. Like certain times we can't string passes together and stuff like that. We'll misplace the pass or give them a few sloppy chances. Like I don't think we'll probably be lucky enough to get a clean sheet the way we did against Bournemouth in these games. I think that these games will be a little bit high scoring, but
Yeah.
it should be expected to at least get a minimum of 7 points. But I think that the West Ham game will be, for me, right, I think the West Ham game over the Liverpool game will be like the sort of like the real sort of test, because a lot of the times we're going against the West Hams, the Villas, you know what I mean, the established sort of mid-table to top 12 sort of teams, and that's where we're gonna need a lot of the points from. Like with Liverpool, like it's just one of them where we just have to hope that the team plays well. But the first 3 games before the Liverpool games, right, we just have to, try to win them. And I think that for me, right, the expectation is at least 7 points, at least, or
At least,
at least 6 to 7 points. I think that's realistic from what I'm asking.
Yeah, 1 second. I've just lost the screen where we're at. Oh, here we are. Yeah, just lost myself. Listen, I think we should be beating West Ham. Still, they're still a tricky ground for us. They're going to play their hearts off as they always do, but we need to just step up and play our game and do our thing. How we're going to set up, we'll talk about that on Friday. We'll be doing Maresca's press conference. We'll be doing team lineups. We'll be doing all of the stuff that we need to do on that. Now, listen, we should be beating Barrow. I think Brian at home is going to be interesting. Still think we should be beating them, even though we've got a good record against Brighton at home, to be fair. So I still think that's an area that we should be, gaining points in. Then we're home against Ghent, and then we're home against Forest. 3 games before we go away to Liverpool. And then once we go away to Liverpool, if we look at the end of October, which is, say, here, we've got Liverpool away, Panathinaikos away, Newcastle at home. Now, for me, we have to get to that point with 9 points. We need to win. WWWWW. I want to see a win, 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 win. Effectively, this is Chelsea Football Club. Do I think we're going to win every game? I don't know. Could we lose a game? Yeah, we could easily lose to West Ham or draw and then win against Brighton and beat Nottingham Forest. That could happen. But we beat Barrow at home. That has to happen. And, Ghent at home, we need to be winning that as well, really and truly. So you then look at the Liverpool and Panathinaikos and Newcastle game, and it's a tricky October, really, from Ghent to Nottingham Forest to Liverpool to Panathinaikos to Newcastle.
Yeah, it's going to be up and down October, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's up and down.
But rotation's really key, right? And this is why we've got to keep the players fit. We've got to bring the Lavias back in. We've got to bring the Malagustos. Reece James should be fit now around this period as well. He needs to stay fit and contribute to this team in these games as well, for me. We've got the depth to get through this. But Maresca needs to get it right. He needs to rotate. He needs to look after players. He's got the options to do that. If it means that Caicedo and Lavia have to play this game and Enzo sits on the bench, do it. If it means Lavia needs to be protected and Caicedo and Enzo have to play because he has to keep an eye on his fitness, especially coming back. Do it. Make sure you make the right decisions. That's the most important thing for me. And rotate, rotate him, give him the minutes in game, and he seems to be doing that so far slightly. It's just that sometimes I feel like I look at him and he kind of has that little potch moment sometimes where he's just sitting there a little bit too long when I want him to be a little bit quicker. But 60 minutes in, he made subs, and then it was Nkunku a bit later on. But yeah, I think this is a good period for Chelsea to go and get some wins in the Premier League, get the European games done, the EFL Cup games done, and then get to Liverpool and be right. Where are we at? How far have we come? Are we all better drilled? Do we all understand our roles? Is the midfield now performing better? Is defense now more chemistry, performing better? We've got Gusto back, and is the attack? Are they all doing their bit, contributing? So I want contributions from all of them. In either way, if it's assist or if it being a goal as well. So interesting. I'm looking forward to it though. I'm looking forward to this period. It's going to be a good period of football for us to really analyze and see where we're at going into November. Because I think November, December, before you get to December, and obviously we can look at December very quickly, actually. Let's just scroll down. When you look at November, you go from Newcastle. Let's look at November games. So November games is we play Newcastle at home, then we go Man United away, whoever the hell Noah Ark is in the Europa Conference League, Arsenal at home, Leicester away, and then Heidenheim away. That's before we get into the busy period. So that there is games where these three Premier League games are a tricky one in November. To get to that point of beating West Ham, Brighton, Nottingham Forest, maybe getting a draw if we can, or a win against Liverpool, and then getting to Newcastle and beating them at home. Getting to the point of here, we have to have some W's, man. We have to have some W's.
And I'm kind of glad now that the harder games are coming a lot more earlier for us, because it's at this sort of point where we question our team's fitness, in a sense. Like when it comes down towards December time, we lose like half of our team anyways.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah. So I think that October and November times are a very, very good test for our team, and the Premier League table is shaped up by then anyways.
Well, we should be shaping up as a team by November. Our system should be ticking. Hopefully, we can pray to the Lord that no injuries onto key players and we're not down and suffering from it. Like, I hope we can just get all the way to end of or at least beginning of November. Man United, Arsenal, we need our key players available for them 2 games. And then we get into the December period. I'm just going to look at the December period quickly. We've got Aston Villa, Southampton, Tottenham. Forget the Europa Conference games. Brentford, Everton, Fulham, Ipswich.
See, it's not looking too bad.
That is a blessed December, guys. I'm not joking. That is a blessed December for us. But we have to get through this October, November period with some W's behind us. We can't be drawing and losing, and then we win one, and then draw one, and lose one, and win. All right, draw a game if we do draw or lose, and then win. We need that consistency in our W's, and that's the real big key for me. Can Maresca do that now? He could do with the rotation and the quality he has now, in my opinion, if you can keep him all fit. But get into this December period where you've got, all right, Aston Villa at home could be a little bit tricky, but then you get past that. Southampton away, we should be going there 2-3-0. Tottenham at home, away. Listen, we own White Hart Lane. I'm not even that scared of them. I don't even think they're that good, to be quite honest here. We should be beating them. Then I look at Chelsea, Brentford at home. Brentford can be tricky. They gave Man City problems. We saw it. They're a good team. They're very organised. But the quality of what we have should pull through in these games. Everton away, tricky ground. Always been a tricky ground for us. I don't get it. We don't seem to play well there. Go and sort it out. Go over there. Get a W. Fulham at home, I expect us to beat them. Ipswich away on the 29th, we should win. So there's some really good December Kings. Listen, I don't want to jump the gun too much because this is Chelsea Football Club. We draw, win, lose, draw, win, lose. But this is the difference now. Consistency. Get your W's. You got a good fixture list. All right, there's a little tricky bit between November. We've seen it because we have to have them tricky moments. But going into December, see yourselves up being in 5th, 4th potentially if we can, and have that run. And let's see where we can really find ourselves. What are you saying, Hassan?
Yeah, and I could agree with you more. And this is why I wanted, especially at the earlier start of the season, is the harder games, because you don't want to verse like the United, the Tottenhams around December time, because like they'll be fully fit, everyone's up for a game, and then it's just like, obviously, like, I'm gonna be honest, just take Tottenham out of the equation, right? The other sort of games like the Newcastles, United, and all of that stuff, we definitely need to turn up with some sort of win or with some sort of momentum. And
100%.
I just don't know. I think that we should probably focus on these first 5 set of games before we start jumping the gun on November, December, because
Yeah,
anything can
I agree.
happen from now till then.
Yeah. We obviously got to get through what's in front of us, but if we can set ourselves up in a way where we're not losing and drawing these games that we should be winning, and I'm talking about Forest, I'm talking about Brighton at home, I'm talking about Newcastle at home. Even I think we should beat Newcastle, but even I think that's a tricky one. But I still think we should beat them. If we can get ourselves in Leicester away, we should be winning. If we can get through them games with a couple of W's, and then we're going to have draws. Don't get me wrong. Probably going to draw with Man United or Arsenal, or you know what I mean. Like that'd be nice to win them all. Don't get me wrong, but I don't know. I don't know if we're at that yet. But listen, let's do a quick as we're here and we're coming into September. Let's do September to end of October match predictions, Hassan. Yeah, let's just guess what we think is going to be the case in these. Obviously, things can change with injuries and stuff, but West Ham on the weekend, we're obviously going to do a review on that. Lavia is crucial, but so is Nkunku. He is. West Ham's tricky. It is, Javi. It is. But listen, you guys, I've really, I don't know if you guys have been here long enough, but I was just showing that if we get through West Ham, Brighton, Forest, these 3 games here, and get to Liverpool away and somehow get a draw, or maybe lucky, even a win potentially. We then have Newcastle, and then we have the tricky one, Man United, Arsenal, Leicester for November. That's our November games. If we can get through that period and at least have some W's here along the way, it sets ourselves up good for December, because that December run, guys. All right, Aston Villa at home's not great, but we can win that. Southampton, Tottenham away, Brentford at home, Everton away, Fulham at home, Ipswich. I think that's quite blessed. Quite honest, yeah, I really do. I ain't going to guess the West Ham game. We'll save the West Ham game for Friday, Hassan. But Barrow, we should be beating. I'm going to say W against Barrow.
Yeah, that's minimum. It'll be a shock if we lose. Let's be honest, it's a shock if we lose.
5-0, 2-0, 3. I don't care. Just win the game.
Yeah.
Brighton at home. I'm going to say W. I think we should beat Brighton. We've got a good record at the bridge against Brighton. So, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, Brian, we should definitely be beating. We've taken like literally all the stars and the main players. I think they've sold like most of the main players, anyways. Besides, like they've only got a few key players, but that's about it now. This is not the Brighton like 3-4 seasons ago, so we should be beating them.
Well, these 4 games here, home. We've got 4 games at home. Use the momentum to get the fans behind get behind the team and win these in 4 important games: Premier League, Cup, Europa, Premier League. 2 Premier League games. Like, we need to get behind them in these 4 home games. If we can get some like consistency in our home performances and win these 4 games, listen, we've got again at home. They'll be tricky. I think European teams are tricky anyway. I don't think it'll be a walk in the park. I think we should win still 2-0 or whatever in this game. But yeah, I'm going to put a W on that as well. I think we should be beating them. Like, this is where I hold us right now. You know.
And yeah, like as you were saying, like we should be beating these European teams, but I wouldn't be surprised because like they see Chelsea as a European giant compared to themselves, so they will definitely turn up against us. Like they'll turn up like it's a cup final against us. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's a tricky game.
Like, it could be a draw. Don't get me wrong, but I still think there's WWW. We're not talking about
Yeah,
West Ham.
we'll save West Ham for Friday, but
We'll save West Ham for Friday, guys. Forest at home should be a W. I don't care. Win. It should be a win, shouldn't it?
The championship sort of bottom of the table team we should be smoking, ideally, based on the talents we got.
So say 6 points. We've not spoke about West Ham. Say 6 points so far, and you win your European game. A bit of consistency, more time in the system, more time for the players to mix chemistry. Players coming back in, Lavia, like Couch said, keeping him fit. Nkunku playing, hopefully banging in, like, people ticking play. Enzo Fernandez finding that role that suits him. That's another thing that's important as well. Liverpool away. Now, we've always done well against Liverpool. It's always a case that we've done pretty well against them. Now, I'm looking at them at the moment. They played well last night. Obviously, things can change today and they could have injuries and whatever. But if I'm being honest with you, I'd be happy with a draw, minimum, with Liverpool. I think we can win, but I'm going to say draw on that one. What are you saying, Hassan? You sound a bit more confident.
That's like a nervous laughter. I think that if Liverpool keep a full fit squad, I think we're losing. I think that's the game where the expectation of win and loss comes after momentum is where Liverpool is, because I think Liverpool, they're just like a well-oiled machines. They've got too many, like they've still got the main players like the Van Dijks, the Salahs, and all of that stuff. So I don't think we're going to win, not especially at Anfield. It's a tricky ground. So, but I like what you said. I'll take a draw or a win. Either I'm happy if we take some form of points, whether whether it's a hit and run sort of game or whether I don't know, like whether a dodgy penalty comes to our way. Like I don't care how we get the points.
I don't think it's impossible to beat them. I think we've just played very well. We just haven't took our chances. They play a high line. We can get at their defense. We will create chances, and I think we can be effective.
We got the quality to hurt them, so it's not impossible. But it's the issue
we have is the defense. It's a defensive aspect. How we turn up defensively. Bozo moments, goalie doing insane, centre backs doing insane, whatever. You know, can we shake that out of our system by the time we get through these games and get to Liverpool? That's the big key for me. We will know by the time we get to Forest where we're at, how we've been playing, what we've seen, whatever, you know. But I'm going to put a draw on that. And then Panathinaikos away is a tricky one. I can see that being, that's a hard ground, that's not going to be an easy one, by the way. I'm going to tell people that now. I hope it is. I hope we smash them 2-3-0. But I can see us winning maybe 1-0, potentially, like a tight game, and we nick it or something, hopefully. That's my prediction on that one. What are you saying, Ass?
Yeah, I think exactly what you said. I think it'll be a frustrating, long, sort of like it's gonna grind our gears a bit, and we're just gonna be like, "Oh, what the hell are we doing here?" But again, I think that we'll win, but I think it'll be a low-scoring win, just because like European grounds, European pitches are a lot different. Like, you know, I mean, it's not like this premium Premier League grounds, so. The pitch is going to be different, the atmosphere is going to be different, and the style of football is going to be different. So it's going to be one of them frustrating games. I can see it happening. I wouldn't be surprised if we drop points against them.
I'm going to go with a win against Newcastle. I'm going to go with a W. I just think we can beat them. I just feel like we're going to beat them. What are you saying?
Yeah. They're not the same. It's going to be a tough one, but I think we'll win 2-1 against them.
2-1, yeah?
Yeah, that's what I think. I got a feeling it'll be somewhere along the lines. But obviously, when the time comes or when the injuries happens, it'll be a different sort of prediction. But as of now, we should be competing or trying to be against Newcastle.
Cool. All right, interesting stuff. Listen, I'm going to drag it too long today, guys. We've got nearly 260 people, 150 people on Chelsea Fan TV, guys. Make sure you're hitting the likes as well. Today, guys, was just more of an overall discussion about Maresca and Nkunku, everything to do with Chelsea, bringing up to speed where we feel with the fixtures coming up as well. But yeah, we're going to come off, and I'm going to be back on Friday, guys. Make sure you're back Friday. Press conference review, team lineups, score predictions, panel, all of that. We've got everything coming your way on Friday, guys. Make sure you're around for that one. Newcastle at home. It's at home. Home couch. I think we win at home. 2-1. So we've got all that coming.
It's a different story if it's away. It's always a different story at their ground.
If it's away, it's different. But yeah, we're at home. I think we can beat them at home, to be fair. But yeah, listen. Been a good show, guys. 1 hour and 15 minutes in. It's not a long one, like I said today, guys. It's just a catch-up one. But it's good to show that we've got the numbers here. 150 people at Chelsea Fan TV. GNA TV suffering still because I'm still demonetized, but I've reapplied today. So hopefully I get the monetization. Fingers crossed on that. Over on Twitter, we've had 100 people as well. Leave a comment below, guys. Give us your predictions on the fixtures that we spoke about as well. I want to hear from you as well. And yeah, guys, we're going to keep it short and sweet today because we'll probably do a longer show on Friday for the match preview, which will probably be about an hour and a half, 2 hours with the panel in as well. Hopefully Couch and everyone else will be able to join us. But Hassan, big up to you, bro. I appreciate you.
Thank you,
man. I'll take this Chelsea at home. This is what I'm saying. I agree. Exactly. I agree, bro. I agree. So big up to yourself, guys. 250 people. Take care of yourselves. See you again soon. Peace out, guys. Peace out.